Very good afternoon to one and all. Today we are going to attend a webinar on impact of COVID-19 on Kerala economy. Actually, St. Thomas College is a prestigious institution, first Catholic college in Kerala. We have third position. During the third cycle, we have 3.4 out of the 4 marks. And now we are front runner in the quality initiatives as well as in India as well as in Kerala. Okay, let me come to the point. Today, our title is very relevant. Impact of COVID-19 in Kerala economy as it's a global phenomenon. Okay, let me come to my duty. Principal Dr. Joy KL. He's an eminent academician and efficient administrator. He is with all initiatives of economics as well as politics department. And I welcome you, sir, in this event. Thank you. And next is our resource person. Professor B.A. Prakash. He joined as a lecturer in the Department of Economics at the University of Calicut, John Mathai Center during 1978. After that, he joined as a professor in Kerala University. He was a chairman of 5th Financial Commission of Government of Kerala. At present, he is chairman of a famous NGO at Trivandrum. He most willingly associated with all our events in our college and willingly, with immense effort, he joined in our webinar. Thank you very much, sir, and I welcome you in this webinar. The next one is our beloved IQAC coordinator, Father Anil George Kongoth. Actually, he is an academician as well as techie. He helped during these adversities of connectivity, instruments, equipment, all these initiatives, and he lifted our institution in terms of quantity, quality, as well as equity. Okay, I welcome you, sir, in this event. And next is our colleagues, our fellow coordinators, Blessy Paul, Jeannie Paul, and Geeta Gogul, Eljo Joseph, Emmanuel Thomas, and everyone in this our department, and our fellow participants. I welcome you, everyone in this event, and request you to make this program as a grand success. Thank you. Let me hand over to the principal for his presidential address.
Good afternoon and welcome to all. Respected Professor B.A. Prakash, Chairman, 5th State Financial Committee, Kerala. Head of the Department of Economics, Dr. Sabu PJ. IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Father Anil George Kongoth. Dr. Blessy Paul, the Head of the Department of Political Science. Faculty members, academicians, and dear students. St. Thomas College Autonomous, Thrissur has a long tradition of being the pioneer in higher education in Kerala. This webinar is an important step by the college to bring various inquisitive minds together to discuss the economic issues relevant to Kerala in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. We are proud to have resource person Professor Prakash with us, who is an apt person to talk about Kerala economy during this COVID-19 pandemic, because he has a working experience as a chairman of 5th State Finance Commission of Kerala. We know that economic crisis associated with the coronavirus care is unprecedented. The production of goods and services came to an abrupt and almost a total halt. Let me make use of this opportunity to appreciate the faculties of Economic Department guided by Dr. Sabu PJ and Dr. Blessy Paul, Head of the Department of Political Science, for conducting a webinar on impact of COVID-19 on Kerala economy. This webinar is definitely an inspirational and informative that will discuss impact of COVID-19 on our economy. It also instills a sense of hopefulness for the future. I wish you all a very fruitful session and wish you all the best. Thank you, sir.
The presentation of Professor B.A. Prakash, sir. Please, sir.
Professor Joy, Principal of the college, Dr. Sabu, Head of Department of Economics, and distinguished teachers and friends. I am very happy to be here to present the webinar on the subject impact of COVID-19 on Kerala's economy. Recently, I have been conducting some studies on the subject, and based upon the data we have collected and based upon that information, I would like to make a presentation on the impact on COVID-19 on Kerala's economy. Now we will switch on to my PowerPoint presentation so that you will get a clear picture about the whole presentation. So we will switch on. We are moving to the PowerPoint presentation. The topic is impact of COVID on Kerala's economy. Next. Yes, the world has been experiencing COVID pandemic since December 2019. It spread to 215 countries and territories in the world. And the World Bank says that the COVID-19 recession will be the worst global recession since 1945-46. Indian economy has been experiencing the worst recession since independence. And this paper is a preliminary attempt to examine the impact of COVID-19 on Kerala's economy. And here I am mainly focusing on two aspects of the impact on GSDP, state income, and the other is on labor market, employment, unemployment, and labor force. See, we'll get an idea about the spread of the pandemic throughout the world since January 22nd from this table. From the table, you can see that in January, the total number of COVID cases in the world was 580. But on July 2020, it was about 127.78 lakhs. That is, the COVID within 4 or 5 months, the COVID has spread to almost all countries in the world. And nearly 5.56 lakh persons died as a result of the COVID. I will give you an idea about the spread of the pandemic. The pandemic spread to an unprecedented speed throughout the world. Within 6 months, the total COVID-19 cases increased to 123.78 lakhs. The total death increased to 5.56 lakh. It is rapidly spreading across emerging market and developing economies, including low-income countries in the world. Most of the countries have been implementing lockdown, quarantine, and social distancing practices. Mobility of people within the country and outside came to a halt as a result of this pandemic. Operation of all modes of passenger transport, road, rail, water, air was stopped in most of the countries. People who went to foreign countries for jobs, studies, business, and other purposes stranded there. The pandemic has created a panic situation throughout the world. It created multiple crises in several fronts: health, travel, economy, finance, production, output, employment and unemployment, prices, immigration and remittances, fiscal situation of governments, etc. This table 2, gives you an idea about the growth of the pandemic in the country, in India. In January 30, only 1 person was affected by the disease, but by July 9, it has increased to 7.94 lakhs, and already 22,000 persons died as a result of the COVID. From the table, you have seen that within 5 months, the cases increased to 7.95 lakhs. The death increased to 21,000. The states having largest number of cases are Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Delhi. The 68-day national lockdown has resulted in severe damage to all sectors of the economy. According to Reserve Bank of India, India's GDP will become negative in 2020-21. Top 6 industrialized states in India that account for 60% of the industrial output are in red and orange zones. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, an organization which is collecting data and economic data, estimates that the unemployment had increased to 24% in May 17, 2020. Rural unemployment rate was 23% and urban unemployment 27%. And all these suggest that as a result of this COVID pandemic, Indian economy is experiencing an unprecedented recession since its independence, that is since 1947. And by unemployment, I mean it denotes the percentage of unemployed persons to the total labor force. We'll come to Kerala. What about the growth in the COVID cases? In January 30, the total number of COVID cases in Kerala was 1, a single one. But now, by July 13th, it increased to about 1,000, and already the reported death is about 34. See, coming to Kerala, a very interesting thing is that the first COVID-19 case in India is reported in the Thrissur district in the case of a student who returned from China. Within 5 months, the number of cases increased to 8,323 and number of deaths 34. Compared to other states, the growth rate of COVID-19 patients and deaths are lower in Kerala, but a sizable number of Keralites died due to COVID-19 in Gulf countries, maybe more than 500, and cities in India, especially Bombay and Delhi. Malappuram district has the largest number of COVID patients at present, followed by Palakkad, Thiruvananthapuram and Alappuzha and Kannur. As on today, the COVID has created acute recession in the state in all sectors of the economy. Then we will move on to the lockdown lockdown and its GSDP and its impact on the state income or gross state domestic product of Kerala. See, at the national level, lockdown was implemented for 68 days, but in Kerala, 69 days lockdown was implemented. These may be classified into 3 phases on the basis of the nature of lockdown. The first phase, 27 days, a lockdown similar to a curfew was implemented. All modes of passenger transport, road, rail, water, and air were stopped. All educational institutions, places of worship, functions, and gatherings were stopped, except a few essential services such as shops, medicine, petrol pump, LPG distribution, etc. All other activities were stopped. This has paralyzed almost all the production of goods and services in the state economy. In the second phase of lockdown, up to May 3rd, a few relaxations were given. In the third phase, more relaxations were given. So the impact of the lockdown is different depending upon the controls imposed and also relaxations given. And here, first we are examining what is its impact on state income. State income or GSDP is defined as the aggregate of all money value of final goods and services produced within the geographical boundaries of the state without duplication during the period of 1 year. See, before going to the impact of lockdown on GSDP, let me say how we made the estimate of the loss. The method used is this, that is, we have taken the sector-wise GDP data for 2018-19, that is the latest data available. The rate of loss of state income for each subsector and sector is worked out based upon the report published in print and electronic media on the economic effects of lockdown on our own assessment. The GSDP loss was estimated for 3 phases separately. The estimate is a lower approximation by about 10%, as we have taken GSDP data for 2018-19 as base. And this is the total loss for the 3 phases. The first phase of 27 days, 14 day second phase, and 28 days in the third phase. So in the first phase, we estimate that the total loss of GSDP was about 82%. That means only the actual production was taken place only in the case of 18%, and the rest 82% is loss. With more relaxation, I think the loss was about 72%, and with more large relaxation, the loss of GDP came to 61%. Total loss of GSDP for 69 days. This is an estimate. See here in the table, I have given you the GSDP, total GSDP quick estimate for the year 18-19. That is about 7.48 lakh crores GSDP. For the 69 days, I have estimated that more than 1 lakh worth goods and services were lost, or the loss of GDP was to that extent. That means it is equivalent to about 13.5% of the GSDP for the year 18-19. Or in other words, we can say that as a result of the lockdown, and also the loss of GDP was to the tune of about 13 to 15% of the GSDP of the current year. So here details of estimate is given. I think the loss of GDP is first phase is 82%. This is an explanation of the table. Second phase and third phase. These the construction and manufacturing subsectors witness severe loss. Another sector which witnessed severe loss is transport, storage, financial services, real estate, other services, etc. During the second phase of the total loss of GSDP is estimated as 72%, and the third phase it is there is some reduction, and in the final phase it was estimated as 61%. So here, based upon this estimate, what are the major conclusions? The loss of GSDP due to lockdown is huge, and present recession is likely to become a depression. This is one major observation. Now we are facing one of the worst depressions since the formation of the state, but it is likely, if the pandemic continues, it may lead to a depression. During the year 2021, the GSDP is likely to register a negative growth rate. There will be an unprecedented fall in production of goods and services and employment during the financial year 2020-21. Then coming to what is the loss of employment as a result of this lockdown of 69 days. See here, you will get an idea about the total structure of employment: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. This is based upon the estimate of National Statistical Survey, National Statistical Office survey. So here, out of the total, see here in the second part, I have given loss of employment more than 50%. The tick denotes the loss of employment more than 50%. And here, the construction manufacturing and construction sector registered more than 50% loss of employment. Total secondary sector also witnessed a loss of more than 50%. Trade, repair and motor vehicles again incurred a loss of more than 60% of employment. Transportation again more than 50% loss. So we find that except the primary sector, that means agriculture and allied sectors, the secondary and tertiary sector, and most of the subsectors of these two sectors registered a loss of more than 50% of unemployment. See here, this is an explanation of the table I have presented earlier, so I am not going into that detail. Then, see, we can also classify the workers into three categories: self-employed, regular employed, and casual labor. Here, this table gives you an idea about the classification of workers or employment on three categories. Here, a very important point is that self-employment means some from small activities, petty activities. Casual labor means also the workers engaged in casual activities. And in the case of regular means all those persons who are working in some type of regular activities. And here, a very important point is that out of the total employment, this is the self-employment is 37%, casual labor 29%, wage is about wage salary category is about 33%. The entire self-employed, casual labor, and major share of regular wage salary employed come under the informal sector. A very important point of the labor market in Kerala is that out of the total employment, 84% is either casual labor, self-employed, and those who do not have much employment and income. The lockdown has resulted in huge loss of employment in the self-employed and casual laborers. Informal sector workers worked in all sectors such as casual and temporary workers, migrant casual workers from other states, self-employed workers belong to primary and secondary and tertiary sectors. They face severe loss of employment. These subsectors which registered severe loss of employment are mining and quarrying, construction, transportation and storage, accommodation, food services, real estate, arts, entertainment, and recreation. The lockdown has pushed more than 2/3 of self-employed and casual laborers to acute unemployment, financial crisis, indebtedness, and economic distress. Then coming to what is the impact of the lockdown on the migrant workers. See, this table gives you an idea about the number of migrant workers belonging to other states in Awas Yojana scheme. That means about the total number of persons registered with this scheme is about 5 lakhs, more than 5 lakhs. See, if we examine about Kerala's labor market or the employment situation, Kerala's labor market is characterized by excess supply of educated labor force on the one hand and shortage of labor force on the other. Shortage of manual labor force on the other. Due to high wage rates of manual and unskilled workers, the better labor atmosphere and living conditions in Kerala, a large number of migrant workers migrated to Kerala from other states. The total number of migrant workers registered with Awas, a free insurance program meant for migrant workers and who are active in the scheme, is about 5.09 lakh. According to Labour Department, the total migrant workers in Kerala is estimated in the range of 6 to 7 lakh prior to the implementation of the lockdown. See, here I want to stress an important point. There was some estimate about the Kerala's migrant workers as 20-25 lakhs. There is no basis for that. See, now recently the government has enumerated the total number of migrant workers in the state in the camps, and on the basis of the available information, the total migrant workers from other states in Kerala will be about 6 to 7 lakhs. Due to lockdown, in the first two phases, 90% of the migrant workers who worked in construction and other sectors had lost their work and remained unemployed. The Kerala government on June 5 told the Supreme Court that Kerala has 4.34 lakh migrant workers from other states at the time of the announcement of lockdown. I think some 2 lakhs people they have returned earlier before the announcement of lockdown. Of these 1.53 lakhs workers returned, 1.2 lakh workers wish to return to other native places, and 1.61 do not want to leave the state. This indicates huge loss of employment to the migrant workers. Then we will also examine what is the impact of the lockdown on unemployment in Kerala. This table gives you an idea about the unemployment rate for Kerala and also for India. See here, the youth unemployment is given. That is youth belonging to the age group 15 to 29. Here a very interesting point is that prior to the lockdown period, the unemployment of youth in Kerala is 36% of the labor force. Unemployment rate means percentage of unemployment to the total labor force. The female rate is 63% and the male is about 23%. This is about the unemployment rate of educated. Here, this includes not the youth, but all categories. And here it is estimated that the total unemployment rate of persons having an educational level of secondary and above is about 20%. Male-female bracket is given. And in the case of graduate, you find that 30% or 30% of the labor force are unemployed. So the category graduate category of educated unemployment. Educated persons have the highest incidence of educated unemployment. That means prior to lockdown, the unemployment rate is very high. So what is the impact of lockdown on youth and educated unemployment? Lockdown and consequent huge job losses, large scale return of Keralite migrants from other parts of India and abroad due to COVID pandemic. The uncertainty of the period required for the economy to regain to the pre-COVID-19 situation suggests that Kerala is heading towards an alarming growth in youth and educated unemployment. According to NSO, the unemployment rate of youth in the age group 15 to 29 was 36%. This means that out of 100 persons in the labor force, 36 persons are unemployed prior to the COVID-19 period. This was the second highest rate of unemployment among states in India. Due to COVID effect on unemployment front, the unemployment rate of youth is likely to be doubled. This will be the one effect of the lockdown. This will create acute economic and social problems in Kerala. The unemployment rate of having educated qualifications with secondary and above is 20% and now. See, we have sufficient evidence to suggest that COVID-19 pandemic is likely to send the state economy to deep depression and structural change in employment. This will also result in unprecedented increase in unemployment rate of youth and educated. The degrees and other qualifications attained in general higher education for getting a white-collar job will become irrelevant in the post-COVID-19 labor market situation. There will be huge fall in employment of white-collar in the public sector in the post-COVID-19 era. So, see, in my presentation, I have examined two aspects. One is on income, state income, on different the fall in income of different sectors, and the second is on employment, migrant workers, and also unemployment. So, my presentation is mainly confined to the impact of lockdown on the economy and also on employment. Based upon this presentation, based upon my conclusions are these are the major conclusions for this study. The loss of GSDP due to lockdown is huge, and the present recession is likely to become a depression. During the year 2021, GSDP is likely to register a negative growth rate. The 69 days lockdown has resulted in unprecedented loss of employment in Kerala. The industry and construction sectors, the loss of employment was more than 50%. In tertiary sector, majority of the sectors suffered more than 50% loss of employment. Informal sector workers, which account for 84% of the workers, such as casual, temporary, and self-employed, face severe loss of employment. The lockdown has pushed more than 2/3 of self-employed and casual workers to acute unemployment, fiscal crisis, indebtedness, and economic distress. The total migrant workers in Kerala is estimated in the range of 6 to 7 lakh prior to the implementation of the lockdown. Due to the lockdown in the first two phases, almost 90% of the migrant workers lost their jobs. More than 70% of the migrant workers from other states returned to their native places due to lockdown. Kerala has very high rate of youth unemployment. The lockdown has doubled the rate of youth unemployment. COVID-19 has resulted in unprecedented changes in the structure of employment of the labor market. See, before these are the conclusions of the study, but here I just want to make one more announcement on this. This presentation is available in the website keralaeconomy.com. See, I have also written a few articles on the impact of lockdown. That is also available on the keralaeconomy.com. So those who are interested to have an idea about the impact of COVID on Kerala's economy can visit the website keralaeconomy.com. Right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. This is
The
the
presentation is over.
okay. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. B.A. Prakash sir, and participants. It's a time to interact. If there is any queries and clarifications from the part of attendees, please. Prakash sir, shall we? Can we have some clarifications?
Yes, definitely. I think you can collect. You can simply say what are the clarifications required. I will make the answers.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
See, instead of
Okay. I got the point. Okay, sir. Okay. I will pass to B.A. sir. You need not collect. Okay. Okay, sir. We have some clarifications. The first one is what will be the impact of COVID-19 on Kerala's fiscal positions?
See here, the COVID-19 has impacted severe crisis on the fiscal front.
Okay.
See, according to one estimate, for the year, I think April, the loss of revenue to the state government was about 80%. 80%. But for the subsequent period, they have not released the amount. Maybe it may take some more time to get the data on the loss. But after the implementation of the COVID, for the first month, the total loss of state revenue was to the tune of about 80%. That means the state got only about 10% of the state revenue, state taxes. I am talking about the state taxes and non-tax items.
Okay. My next collection will be whatever will be the. I think it may not be your area, but there is a doubt that what will be the impact of COVID-19 on education sector, especially higher education, because students are not able to come to colleges. They are following online learning, and so many problems, especially in nuclear families, various problems. You know better than me. So can you suggest, not only in education sector, some fiscal fronts, can you suggest some policy measures in this eventuality?
See here, as a result of COVID-19, a lot of crisis was created in all sectors all activities. One area where severe damage was done is the education sector. The point is that the student cannot go to a school or a college. That type of a situation was there. So what is actually happening? See, in order to solve this issue, I think e-learning is being introduced, but it is not effective. And another thing is that, you know, a large number of unregistered institutions, coaching centers, parallel colleges, private colleges, they were not functioning. So, you know, thousands of students, they are not getting an opportunity to study, learn. Again, thousands of teachers, they lost their jobs. Tuition business is a major business in the state that has been lost. And another thing is that thousands of vehicles, they are carrying the students from the houses to the educational institution, that lost. So the education is a area where substantial employment opportunities are there. If you take the total government staff, more than 50% of the staff are working in the educational institutions in various departments as teachers and non. So this is the thing. So here the education came to a standstill, and we are not sure about when the COVID will came to an end. So far, no scientists were not in a position to predict when the COVID will came to an end. So a serious uncertainty is there, and the total education sector is in total mess or in a crisis.
Okay. Okay. Will COVID speed up the process or retard the process of formalization of informal labor in Kerala?
No. See here, if you take the case of total employment structure, I told you that nearly 1/3 will be about the regular categories of employment. I have given in my presentation, I have given the table. But here the point is that the regular employment means all categories of regular employment. Suppose a person who is working in a shop, if he is getting a regular employment, it's a regular employment. But if you take the case of public sector employment, or if you take the case of those who are working in a regular private establishment, so the core regular employment will be about 15%. The core regular employment will be 15%, consisting of public sector and also private sector organization. That means the 84% of the total employment is informal sector. And here major share is either self-employed or casual employed, and they are facing the severe crisis, and they may be pushed further to severe loss of employment, loss of income, poverty, and severe crisis. That is the big crisis we are going to face.
Sir, we have 2 more questions. Shall we?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, what would be the future of construction sector as most of migrant workers return to their states? Is in labor shortage after that particular sector, or what will be the impact, especially in the construction sector?
The construction sector is one of the sectors which are expanding at a rapid pace in Kerala for the last decades. And here, you know, construction sector is a sector which provides about 19% of the total workers. And the construction sector is also providing a share of GDP, including real estate property, etc., 15 to 20%. So construction is a emerging sector. State economy is also witnessing a fast urbanization. Nearly 50% of the Kerala's population is urban population. So in urban areas, a lot of construction activity is there. Construction is emerging, and we require large number of construction workers. But according to all available indications suggest that I think a large number of construction workers left. But still about 2 lakh construction workers are here present. If things will improve, definitely the construction workers from other states, they will return. One. Second thing is that there is a lot of job loss in other sectors, and naturally there will be a movement of our workers to construction sectors. See, from the Gulf, we are expecting a return of about 2 to 3 lakh workers. A good percentage of the workers returning from Gulf countries are unskilled workers, or they may be also forced to move to the construction sector. So I don't think there is not much possibility for a shortage of construction workers in the in the future. Maybe there may be some problem in the immediate future, but as a result of COVID, according to the present indicators, there is not much likelihood for a shortage of construction workers in Kerala.
Okay, sir. What will be the long-term impact of government jobs opportunities and how it will affect the educated job seekers?
See, that is a very serious issue. See, now our educated youth, they were going to the colleges, getting degrees with the hope of getting a regular white-collar employment in government sector or in private sector and other fronts. The COVID has already destroyed a large number of employment. See, now everywhere you find that there's a movement from office to home. The digital e-governance, IT is being used to supplement workers, replace workers in all fronts. As a result of COVID, in all areas, you find that there has been a change to digitalization, the use of IT, and loss of employment for educated and white-collar categories. So, one of the categories which is going to face a severe problem in Kerala due to this COVID pandemic is educated category, general educated category, general educated category of people who are aspiring for white collar type of jobs. Now, definitely in the post-COVID period, I think the more demand will be for IT related type of thing. Even for educated youth, for doing even a clerical job, you require IT training or IT skills. So IT skills, practical skills is become a very important thing in the post-COVID period.
Okay. Okay. Sir, how long do you think the fiscal situation today in Kerala would take to revive? And do you feel there is any shortcoming the way the government is handling the situation in terms of its fiscal matters, especially in a pandemic situation?
See, the fiscal situation is in a very acute stage, even before the COVID pandemic. See, for the last 4 years, the present government, they have published a white paper, and they said that Kerala is facing an acute fiscal crisis, and they will be making steps to improve the crisis. But what is exactly happening for the last 1.5 years? See, treasury restrictions were implemented in all treasuries where it is not possible for you to pass a bill worth more than 1 lakh rupees. That is for the last 18-16 months. All the local governments, they are facing acute problems in passing their bills. No money is there. The government is saying that the bill presented in the treasury will be passed next year from the next budget. We don't have money. And severe restrictions were there in all fronts. In fact, the plans were curtailed. I think not even 20-30% of the plan was not spent. This is the situation prior to the COVID, and the COVID came. COVID means a total destruction of the state's economic activities. And it is likely that the COVID will result in substantial fall in the state taxes and non-tax revenue, and this will push the state government further to a fiscal crisis. But now the government is maintaining the treasury because of two things. One is that the central government is giving a revenue deficit grant every month as per the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission. The central government is also giving a grant as part of the loss incurred due to GSTP. So that money the government is getting. Because of this, the government is somehow paying the salaries and pensions. Their returns.
Okay. Last one is my hypothetical question. Can you believe that how we can come out of the this trap of COVID-19? Can you believe that we can found or humankind can find a medicine or vaccine for this COVID-19? What is your personal opinion?
See here, as per the World Bank or international agencies, they say that this COVID pandemic has created a recession that is the worst recession since 1946. Since 1946, the world is experiencing the worst recession. And this recession is not in one place or in one country. In all, throughout the world, you are experiencing the recession. Lockdown were implemented, unprecedented lockdown were implemented, and travel was prohibited. In many countries, even now, air travel is prohibited. So that type of a situation is prevailing. So far, the World Health Organization or any other world organization, they were not in a position to predict when the COVID will came to an end. When we are going to find a vaccine. So a total uncertainty and crisis is emerging. Maybe if somebody is able to find a vaccine and if that vaccine is available throughout the world, and if that vaccine has not having much side effect, maybe it is possible to control the situation. But one thing is very clear, that is the world is going to face an unprecedented economic crisis, recession at all levels, and it is likely that the world global economic order may change. See, now we are having a world economic order based upon our earlier experiences. Now a new world order will emerge during the post-COVID period, and many of the economic issues, things, policies, ideologies, etc., will have no relevance in the post-COVID period. You take the case of one example. See, what about tourism? In Kerala, tourism was a thriving industry. See, more than 1.5 crores domestic tourists visited in Kerala. What happened to the tourism now? Within one stroke, the entire tourism, which provided employment to about 15 lakh people, lost. So, some unprecedented economic changes are taking place, and based upon the present available evidences of not only national agencies and international agencies, they were not quite sure about the revival or the time required for coming to a revival situation. So that uncertainty still persists.
Thank you for your thought-provoking interactive session. Let me invite Professor Blessy Paul for formal vote of thanks.
So good afternoon all. So it's very engaging and very informative session. So before we conclude, let me propose the formal vote of thanks. Let me extend my gratitude and my department gratitude. So on behalf of St. Thomas College and Department of Economics and Political Science, I extend my gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Professor B.A. Prakash, for responding to our request and sharing his ideas with us. So thank you so much, sir. So my heartfelt thanks goes to our dear principal, Dr. K.L. Joy, for his support and guidance, and Dr. Anil Jor, our IQAC coordinator. He has been exceptionally helpful for us. So thank you, Dr. Anil Jor. And I'd like to thank my entire team of Department of Economics and Political Science for their support. And I'd like to also thank dear participants for their patient hearing. So once again, thank you. Thank you so much. And I request all the participants to fill out the feedback form. The link is in the Q&A session. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.